had a lot of practice with the system, volunteering my time in a school that uses that curriculum in Kumasi. That was even way before I got married.
Sometimes you feel so stressed. Sometimes you feel, am I going to make it? You can't really predict the future. So if you are not very focused and determined to get it done, you may back off along the line.
I mean, just encouraging them, because you see, when you're going through a process of transforming, it's hard. It's like there's an old you competing with a new you. It's hard for a lot of people, and this is why they give up.
The differences of our upbringing can play a huge role and can become the reason why we have conflict.
So I told them that if you don't employ me, how do I get the experience that I need to survive in the industry? And they were shocked.
On life's journey, not everyone is meant to be with you on that journey.
Be a part of She Inspires this and every Wednesday on the I Am Drive on Sunny 88.7 FM, 8:30 a.m. and live on Facebook same time. Also join in on Sunny TV every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. She Inspires is proudly brought to you by She Inspires.
It's been 25 years of building what is regarded as one of the leading cafes in Africa. I'm standing right in front of Josie's Cuppa Cappucino, right here inside the airport. I'm going to be speaking with the CEO of Josie's Cuppa Cappucino, Franka Mariah Andoh. She also happens to be an author. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's the founder of the Most Deaf Foundation Ghana. On She Inspires today, she takes her turn to share her story and her journey to building this beautiful business. A big thank you to our sponsors, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Secure Daily Oral Pill, and also First Choice Hair and Beauty. Thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Duffy's or human you. Duffy's or human feminine mischanty. A massable so many swimmer. Ye bui and sayente ya bia. A san siesi man cassa. Duffy Busiana Ekasi. Intia their mouth for comfort. Enupano.
Duffy's shower gel and pour na money. You want to dear and a cocoa dear. What did Jaria and my natural look?
Mensu de misu Duffy's feminine cleanse and then a capsules ne CSM. And my main think carboni be a me Jimmy who dear and cassa.
Duffy Nupano. And what dance here be Duffy sana. Abama yenina. And Kratoi, FD you should my to say.
Elegance, comfort, pristine, relaxing. Welcome to Hotel Kasavere, located in the heart of East Legon, Accra. Perfect home away from home. With incomparable attention to detail, we have mastered the unique culture of Ghanaian hospitality. Treat yourself to delicious local and continental dishes from our 24-hour restaurant and take a cold swim to relieve your stress. Call Hotel Kasarere today on 0540 348876 for a truly royal experience.
Hey, stop! You little man, just see him go. This baby can run all day long. I wonder what I would do if there were two of him. I am very happy I decided to wait before having another child. Luckily, I met a family planning advisor at a salon who gave me great advice. I also claimed the Advantage Secure Gifts. Now I can space the birth of my children as I want. With Secure, I decide.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, finally, the week is ending. So, Akosia, what are your plans for the weekend?
You know my Saturdays, they are spent at First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon. It is almost like a family hangout. I can get my hair done together with my daughter, while my husband gets that classy grooming that makes him look so fun. Happy you know Dada. Then we sit together and have a mani-pedi session while we just talk and sip on some juice. We all head to the spa for a relaxing massage. It is all about pampering ourselves with Cynthia. It's the #1 stop shop for your comfort in beauty for the whole family. They are into beauty supplies as well, nail extensions. Hey, and when my in-law is in town, we take her along to select the latest wigs from the Asana Care collection. Variety Pani.
Hey, sir.
Yes, locate First Choice Beauty Salon on the Spintex Road, 200 meters from Zenith Bank. Call 0244 370 894 or WhatsApp 0249 970 407.
Well, it's great to finally be here at Josie's Cuppa Cappucino. And right in front of me, I have Franka Mariah Andoh. And I must say, you have such a warm, serene place here.
Thank you.
And I was telling the team, I've driven past a number of times. I don't know why I kind of missed, but it's good to see that this is where it's been. And we're here today to talk to you and capture your story on SheInspires. But I wanted to ask you, as a young girl growing up, have you always had the dream of building what is regarded as one of Africa's leading cafes?
No. I thought that I would be a lawyer. We didn't have many options growing up. The word creative. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. So Franka,
You're having a hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. Okay.
And I'm having a green tea.
This looks good.
With honey. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, so this wasn't something that I had planned growing up. I wanted to be a beautiful woman and a lawyer.
You are a beautiful woman still.
Thank you. I wanted to do law because I was good with words. I was good with writing. In those days, okay, you do well this way, you do that. Mm-hmm. There were very limited options for us growing up.
So when did this come into the picture for you? But even before you get into that, I'm curious about the name Josie, Cuppa Cappucino. Probably a few people have thought it's part of your names or something. Is it, or what inspired that name?
So honestly, I can't even figure out how the name came about. Because when we opened, we didn't even know how to make cappuccino. I mean, that's how dangerous it was in the beginning. But I think the name came to me in my spirit. I mean, let me just put it that way. The Josie's is my mom.
Okay.
My mother was Josephine. Mm-hmm. And I think my mother started this journey of kind of exploring alternative careers. Okay. So my mother was a teacher who decided to become a baker. And in those days, you didn't go to teacher training, as they called it, only to bake bread. So I think my mom taught me that you could change careers and do very well with it.
Okay.
So this is in her honor.
It's in her honor. And so let's know when Cuppa Cappucino came into the picture. First one wanted to become a lawyer.
I did get accepted into law school in the UK. And then I got in late, so I decided to work, and that was the end of that. And then when I came back to Ghana in 1994, I found out that it was difficult to find places where you could just be by yourself. And I think businesses are born out of need or out of a situation that you, the entrepreneur, find yourself out of problems. And when you decide to solve that problem, that becomes a business. So that was basically the route. Because when I came back, it wasn't the done thing for you to be a female by yourself having a tea or a coffee. You had to be asked out before you could go out.
to have your tea or coffee.
Yes. So, yeah.
And talking about the dangerous part of starting a cafe, not knowing how to make cappuccino, how did you get through this dangerous phase to build this successful cafe?
My friend, we've been friends since we were 4. She sent me a book. I still have the book. And they had all the different recipes for how to make coffees, different kinds of coffees, what kind of drinks. So that's how, because in those days we didn't have YouTube. So we couldn't go on YouTube and figure out how to make a cappuccino. The first cappuccino we made was a very sad cappuccino.
How sad was it?
It was so sad, I can't even, I mean, now I laugh at it, it wasn't funny. But yeah, so I always say that sometimes you have to jump in the deep end, even if you don't know how to swim. And faith can bring you through. Yeah.
In 25 years of Cuppa Cappucino, I want to know, what would you say have been some of your challenges building this business in Ghana? Entrepreneurship in Ghana.
Okay, so before I say that, I want to say that, I mean, we have a proverb that you shouldn't point at your village with your wrong hand. And I choose not to say left hand because left, right, they're all good hands. Ghana's made a lot possible for me. I don't think that if I stayed in the UK, I would have a space like this. It certainly would not have crossed my mind that it was possible. So for that, I'm grateful to God, I'm grateful to Ghana for that. I would say that HR is the biggest issue. Just finding the right people who understand your vision and where you're going. And most recently, finding honest people. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Those would you say have been your major challenges?
Yeah, I would say, because I mean, the ideas are there, the desire is there, but you're one person. Like, you can't play all the instruments in the band and expect a good result. You want somebody who does drumming very well, plays the flute very well,
plays the guitar very well,
and you can write the music and share it with them, and they understand. Absolutely. So I would say that we find it a bit difficult to have ownership of things that don't belong to us. And it comes from the top. There's this thing about, it's not mine, it's not my father's.
Yeah.
So why should I kill myself for it? But in killing yourself for it, you are also preparing yourself for what may be yours.
And despite these challenges, how have you navigated your way? Because it's been 25 long years.
I think it's God. I think it's God. I think it's God, because I mean, sometimes I wonder how we've been able to come through. Like sometimes there'll be in the morning, I'd come in and all the staff haven't turned up. Some have left, some are just running late, and so many situations, and situations with authorities, tourist board. Like it's a business that every day is very unique. Every day comes with its own challenges. So I mean, I feel like God's really walked with us on this 25-year journey, and brought us to this point.
But I'm sure you have some values, some principles also that have guided you in building your business. If you can share those with us for our listeners and viewers.
Yeah, I think what I talk about a lot now, and I would say that I understand it more now than I did then. I was in my mid-20s when I started the business. So by Ghanaian standards, I was and in those days, I was fairly young to be an entrepreneur. I think intent, like why we do things, is very crucial. And yeah, I wanted to be successful and to make good money, to take care of myself, take care of my parents. But I think the initial intent was to create a space that would give people respite, would be like a haven. And for me, also coming from the UK, living on my own for 6 years, coming back to live at home with my parents, this place gave me that respite. So if I needed a break from my parents, my workspace was my respite. And so I think that intent is what's carried through, that when people come in here, they get a sense of peace, they get a sense of like they're away from the busyness.
And I felt that when I walked in.
Yes.
I felt that when I walked
That's
in.
the intent. Even though now I think about like a lot of new places opening up and the energy, like do I want to keep this ambience or do I want the energy? So I'm asking for direction.
You're still thinking on those ones.
Yeah.
And you're a mother, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
You have a daughter.
I have a daughter, yes.
And starting a business, and let's talk about entrepreneurship, motherhood with running a business. How has the journey been?
I think I can only speak for myself because my situation is very unique.
How unique is your situation,
Well,
Franka?
okay, so I'm a single mom. And I also work where I live.
Okay.
So it means that I am almost always around. So I don't go to work and come home. So she kind of had quite a bit of access to me. So she started school.
Okay.
And even during the holidays, she had access to me because we're like 5 minutes away from the workplace. And I mean, I think when she was growing up, sometimes it was difficult for her to understand that I'm at work. So you can't walk in with your jammies. And it's something that she even did at some point. I said to her, you know, if I worked in a bank, would you come in dressed like this?
Dressed like this.
You know, so just try and figure that, okay, we're not far from home, but it's still a separate space. But so yeah, I've always had that support, and I've always been accessible to her because of the proximity of where I work and where I live.
But you would say that has been beneficial to you too?
Absolutely. I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't change.
Franka, you seem to have a special place for writing children's books. There's quite a number you've written. There's Dokno, the Donkey, there's Koku, the Cockerel, Kinty Curtain, which you launched in 2018. And I'm wondering, what stirred up the love for children's books?
Okay, so I've always had the gift of writing. I think when I was in primary school, I used to write really good essays, very entertaining essays. And I didn't write for a long time, and then I kind of rediscovered my writing. But when my daughter was little, I used to read to her. And one of the things I realized was that she would know what was on the next page even before I turned the page.
Wow.
So I realized that she was really devouring the books. I also realized that there wasn't enough on the market in terms of books that she could connect to culturally. There weren't enough books that had characters that were her tone, had her hair, had kilewele, you know, stuff that, you know, and even settings, like spaces that she could recognize. And so that's how I thought, you know, again, when there's a problem, you find a solution.
You find a solution to it.
So writing the book was the solution to the problem of not having enough books on the market that our children can connect with. And Dokno the Donkey was actually a donkey who used to come close to her school. Used to pick up trash. And I just named him Dokno and kind of wove a story around it. And it was quite fulfilling because maybe I'd be in Maxmart or somewhere and as a parent would be like, oh, and say to the kid, that's the lady who wrote Dokno, and he'd be like, I have to read it every night to him or her, and the last time we saw the donkey in Joel and the kids were shouting, that's Dokno, you know. So
how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like our gifts are not meant for us. Our gifts are meant to give other people joy, you know. And I mean, for me, somebody reads a book, even if it's one person and they said I loved it or my child loved it, it's a good reward for me.
When should we expect the next one? I think my daughter would love me to look at these.
I have quite a few that are not out yet. Okay. We're working on it. I actually have 3 that are going to come out at the same time. And those were actually commissioned by a grandfather for his grandson and his granddaughter. He also wanted books, they're based in the States, that they could connect to Ghana as their root.
Feels like they're still home.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was an amazing project. I just thought it was very thoughtful and forward-thinking of him, you know.
And I see there's another side to you where you founded the Most Deaf Foundation Ghana. Where did that one come from? At which point in your life did that come in live? Why that special interest?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
So basically, I have a niece who's deaf. And my niece went to the Cape Coast school.
Was she born?
She was born deaf, yes. So she went to the Cape Deaf School, Cape Coast, had the highest grades the school's ever seen.
That's wonderful.
Ended up high school in the US, doing amazingly well. Ended up in university, has just finished her master's.
Wow.
So it made me think about other children who may be equally smart or gifted, and our system not giving them the opportunity to thrive. And during the COVID, that's when I decided that I would go for it. Because I think what COVID did also was it made us really reflective on, I mean, human beings, when we are in trouble, that's when we think.
That's true.
That's when we are reflective. That's when we're like, okay, so this life.
Now it's like we're ready to listen.
Yes.
You know, our ears
Yes.
are open,
Yes.
our eyes are open.
Yes. So that's when I actually set up the foundation. And we had our first summer camp last year. And then this year we had our second summer camp. So basically every summer we take 10 students from the Cape Deaf School, 5 boys and 5 girls.
Okay.
And we just explore things that they normally wouldn't have access to: IT, culinary arts, fashion, bead making, jewelry, just to show them that there are options, that there are other things that they can do. Because the likelihood that they'll end up in university here is very small. We don't seem to have the resources for interpreters and what they need. But the sad thing is that's not to say that they're not smart. I think the first deaf lawyer graduated a couple of years ago. So it tells you that if they get the right resources, they can contribute.
They can.
And sometimes I think about their parents and how it must be for a parent to have a child with a disability in a space that doesn't offer your child the opportunity to be independent. Parents are not going to live forever. I mean, why do we put our kids through school so that they will be able to take care of themselves? Not even us, you know, that generation is gone. But just so they'll be independent and take care of themselves. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like for those parents. So that's where most deaf comes in, to look at training them, just building their confidence, making them realize that they have gifts, making them feel important. We make them feel very special in the 2 weeks that they're with us. And so when they go back to school, we understand that they have this nice little swag that they carry. And ideally, we'd like to do more children, because to pick 10 out of 25, what does that do emotionally to the other 15 or 20 who don't get picked? But like the reality is that we can't afford to do more than 10 at the moment.
So for now, your focus is on the school in Cape Coast?
Yes, because we have a property in Cape Coast that we use as a summer camp. So in terms of transportation and stuff, it makes it financially easier for us. What we do though is we let them come and do a day in Accra. So they come and experience Cappucino, or we'll take them to an art gallery or an art show. And usually we do that when they are doing art, so that they can connect what they've learned to, you know, like, and they realize that, wow, this is something that if I do well, I can make money, or I can take care of myself.
We need to go on a short break, but before that, I wanted to ask you what you're seeing the future like in terms of influencing policy in this country for our brothers and sisters who are deaf.
You know, when you think about the bigger picture of policy and stuff like that, I must admit that I don't see myself in that space. I feel like where I am, I need to make a difference, and I need to talk about that difference. I always feel like wherever I am, let me do what I can do best, because it's not easy to get up there to convince anybody to do anything.
This is She Inspires with Franka Mariah Andoh. Thank you to our amazing sponsors. Ajile Jewelry, thank you for my lovely accessories, my earrings and my necklace. Also, thank you to Duffy's Health and Beauty. Duffy's, if you're looking for feminine health products, you're looking for weight management products, you want to speak to our friends at Duffy's Health and Beauty. They have 2 new branches now at Spintex and Temasu. Duffy's is getting closer and closer to you. Also to First Choice Hair and Beauty, and also Secure. Stay with us on She Inspires. We'll be right back with Franka Mariah Andoh. Let me just enjoy some more of my hot chocolate. Stay with us.
Duffy's or human you. Duffy's or human feminine mischanty. A massa bosomene so Emma. Ye bui and sayente ya ubia. A san siesi man kasa. Duffy busiana ekese. yentie dia manfo kafa enupa ne ho.
Daffy shower gel and pon na money. You want tuntum dear and a cocoa dear. What did Jaria and my natural look?
Mensu de misu Daffy's feminine cleanse and a capsules ne sie me ho. E ma me nten carbon bia me gye me hu dia nkasa.
Daffy nupa no. E ho dance e bebre. Daffy sana. Aba ma ye nyina. Enkrato yi FD ahwehwe ma gya tum sey.
Elegance, comfort, pristine, relaxing. Welcome to Hotel Casavere, located in the heart of East Legon, Accra. Perfect home away from home. With incomparable attention to detail, we have mastered the unique culture of Ghanaian hospitality. Treat yourself to delicious local and continental dishes from our 24-hour restaurant and take a cold swim to relieve your stress. Call Hotel Casarere today on 0540 348876 for a truly royal experience.
Hey, stop! You little man, just see him go. This baby can run all day long. I wonder what I would do if there were two of him. I am very happy I decided to wait before having another child. Luckily, I met a family planning advisor at a salon who gave me great advice. I also claimed the Advantage Secure Gifts. Now I can space the birth of my children as I want. With Secure, I decide.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, finally, the week is ending. So, Akosia, what are your plans for the weekend?
You know my Saturdays, they are spent at First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon. It is almost like a family hangout. I can get my hair done together with my daughter, while my husband gets that classy grooming that makes him look so fine. Happy Then we sit together and have a mani-pedi session while we just talk and sip on some juice. We all head to the spa for a relaxing massage. It is all about pampering ourselves, so Cynthia is the #1 stop shop for your comfort in beauty for the whole family. They are into beauty supplies as well, nail extensions. And when my in-law is in town, we take her along to select the latest wigs from the Asana Care collection. Variety Pani.
Hey, sir.
Yes, locate First Choice Beauty Salon on the Spintex Road, 200 meters from Zenith Bank. Call 0244 370 894 or WhatsApp 0249 970 407.
Welcome back. This is She Inspires, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. Today we're coming your way from Josie's Cuppa Cappucino, such a cozy, serene place somewhere inside the airport. You should check it out sometime, and you should get the best hot chocolate. I'm enjoying the best hot chocolate here. We have Franka Mariah Andoh with us. She's the CEO of Josie's Cuppa Cappucino. We're having a great conversation with her, and I wanted to say I've seen, or from people who follow you, social media, know you, they know that you are someone who's all out for empowering women, and that's fantastic. But I wanted your opinion on what there's another section of society now that is raising concerns, that we seem to be focusing a lot on young girls and women, and we seem to be neglecting the boys. What about the boys? And I don't know whether they've heard these concerns, and what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree. I think if I look at my mom's generation, it was a time where more girls needed to go to school, more girls needed to be encouraged to be who they wanted to be. I remember one of my aunts wanting to be a doctor and my grandfather saying, no, just do teacher training. And so my uncle got to be a doctor, and she, brilliant woman, became a really good teacher, but she could have easily been a doctor.
Yeah.
So I think in those days, yes, it was important that we brought the women up to speed in terms of education, in terms of ownership. Even things like owning land was an issue. Even things like trying to get a loan, you needed even your son could sign off for you to get a loan. But a male had to sign off for you to get a loan from the bank. But yeah, I feel like in this whole push towards empowering women, we forget that it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And that we're all working together in the society. It's not just women working in the society, it's also men. And if we leave the men behind, then we're empowering one side of society, but expecting balance. So I do feel that it's important that we bring men into the discussion, that it becomes more of a dialogue as opposed to a war. And that we start early, you know, because to change the thinking of a grown person is a bit challenging. But if we start from...
Some say you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Unless they want to learn the new tricks. But if we start from when both girls and boys teach them to respect each other, to understand that we're all important, that we all have a role to play, that, you know, we're here to support each other, to work as a team. I think if we start early, then we're building a balanced society, we're building a good society where really nobody gets left behind, neither the girls nor the boys.
Neither the boys, the girls getting left behind. I've seen some pictures of you and Father Campbell running a few projects here and there, and with Christ the King. I wanted to ask, share your faith with us, how it's central to who you are, what you do as an author, as a business owner, as a mother, as Franka.
So my faith. Okay, so I'm Catholic. I go to Christ the King and St. James. I must admit, my daughter keeps asking me, so which is our parish? I love both parishes. They both feed me spiritually. But I mean, I won't say that I've always been on this path. Some years ago, I had a client walk in. It's a client and a friend. And he was telling me how he'd been robbed, how they'd come to his house and his father-in-law had almost died of, you know, like, because he has high blood pressure, and they were very violent, and he actually asked the guys why, and they said, but if I look for a job with you, would you hire me? And he said to me, Franka, we have to do something. And I said, oh yeah. Like I verbally said, yeah, but in my heart, I was like, well, I'm employing people. Once a year, I go to the psychiatric hospital and give food. And I don't think God was very happy with my response. So this happened on a Friday. The very next day, I wasn't well. And it was like, not well, scary, not well. And like I said, sometimes it's in these difficult times that you really reflect. So I was asking myself, so what am I doing? Okay, I'm doing cappuccino. Is that all? You know, like, I think that's when I became very conscious of the fact that God wanted more from me. And that was his way of, like we say in fancy, or tremaswa. So that's when I got involved with the street children at Christ the King. And that's when I think this sort of journey of not just being about ourselves as a business, but thinking beyond the business to community. That's where that redirection came. And actually this year it occurred to me that we're running a ministry. And the ministry is not necessarily like a few microphones and a praise team. And the fact that we're serving people, service, and the fact that what we do impacts the vulnerable, the poor, the needy, that's ministry.
That's it.
So that was quite a revelation for me, like to be 25 years and to recognize that, you know, even when I didn't know, God already knew where he was taking this, you know, which makes God such an interesting, you know, one. Yeah, and such a master planner and a strategist, that even when you are not on the path, you are on the path, you know. So yeah.
Where do you see this place in the next 25 years again?
That's a very, very deep question for me. because I've been asking God for direction. Because I'm torn between not wanting to become a dinosaur.
When you say a dinosaur?
I mean, like, okay, we were one of the early coffee shops. There's so many coming up, which means that we're having to share our market with a lot more people. And if you don't keep up with the trends, you can become a dinosaur. So you're living off your past glory. But also the way the world is kitty, not wanting to lose the essence of who we are as a nice, quiet space.
That quiet part
that's
is
not
walking it is pretty special.
You know what I mean? Not giddy, you know. So it's just trying to figure out how we can keep relevant.
Be
especially
dynamic
in
yet
this,
relevant in these
absolutely,
times.
but not lose the core values of the business. So that's, I won't say it's a dilemma, because I think that we will find a way around it. Yeah.
Franka, what will be your top 3 lessons for our listeners or our viewers today who've joined us? Your top 3 lessons.
Top 3 lessons.
Whether it's in the area of entrepreneurship or motherhood, being a single mother, being an author. You know, some people say, I mean, can you actually be an author full-time in Ghana and live? Is it possible? Have you ever received those questions before?
Oh, yeah.
You're shaking your head. What are you trying to say, Franka?
Well, because it's I couldn't live off my writing, but I want to say that, and maybe that would be my first thing, that, you know, I find that it's a difficult conversation to have when you say that it's important to sometimes not think about money. Because people need money, they need to pay their bills, they need to eat. If I was going to look at my books as a way of making money, I probably would not have written my books. But being an author is also taking me places. I've been flown to the Netherlands and put up in a castle because of my gift of writing. It's met me some amazing people. I've been commissioned to write memoirs, which are paying. So if I had looked at the money and not the gifts, I would not have done anything, and I would not be where I am. So sometimes, using discernment, we have to look at the gifts, and then the money will come. The other thing is, with our young folk, it's getting difficult to mentor.
Are you mentoring any at this time? Have you ever mentored any?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm finding that we are losing a sense of loyalty. And that sometimes even the very hand that is feeding us, we don't have a sense of loyalty. And if you can't be loyal towards somebody who's being kind to you, then that makes you a very dangerous person. And if as a society,
it's dangerous as the first cappuccino
yes,
we were making.
Yes, even more dangerous. So I think we need to learn how to be loyal and honest, you know, and take ownership wherever we find ourselves. Because wherever you find yourself is part of your journey. God put you there to learn something. And if you're busy bad-mouthing the owner, you're busy gossiping, you will lose the lesson. And you will take those same behaviors to the next place. And they may not be as tolerant. I always tell my staff, whatever you learn here, you're not going to put it in a basket and say, here, I'm done. Here's the things I've learned here. Here's the values I've picked up here. I'm off. I said, you will go with it. And I prefer you to come and learn something with me than me just pay you at the end of the month and you go the same person that you came. Then I haven't done my job as well. So I would say, yeah, I would say look at the gifts. I would say be loyal, be honest. And I would say think community. Whatever you want to do, a lot of people want to start businesses. Why?
The why is really important.
Yes. Why do you want to do this? Because somebody else is doing it? Because you think somebody else is making money? That's not a good reason to start something. But if you think about who can benefit from it, if you think community, God likes projects like that. God likes community projects. He doesn't like things that are just individualistic. It's just about me doing well. And I think if we all thought in that way, from the top to the bottom, we would be a better nation, we'd be better people, because everybody would be thinking about how their gifts can serve. Everybody would be thinking, how can I take ownership, even if I'm working for the government, instead of doing lotto. How can I, if it was my business, would I do this? You see, so I think those are the three things.
So the whole mindset of being a problem solver, you would say.
Yes. Problem solver. Yes. And even with our education system, kind of tweaking it so that we have people who are critical thinkers, not just get fed information and have to just pour it out, and you know, they can see a paper on the floor and walk past it because they're not the cleanest, but you work in the space, you know. So we have a lot to do as a nation if we're going to turn this country around, but it has to start from us as individuals. That's why when you talked about policy, I said I have to do the best I can do in my corner. If everybody does the best they can do in their corner, if those with resources think more community, how can I make a difference? How can I pay a couple of kids' school fees? That's 2 more people that will be educated that at some point, you never know what they can do for the country, you know. So instead of thinking big policy, let's think brighten the corner.
Where you are.
Here you are. You know, if we're all bright in the corner, it makes one nice big light and it shines on the whole country.
We get brighter and brighter,
Absolutely.
we get stronger and stronger.
Absolutely, yes.
Frank, I'm yearning for some of your sandwiches. I've seen the pictures on Facebook. Yes. I think I want to try one of your sandwiches before we wrap up today. Thank you. Wow, these look good. Okay. I should go and go on to my husband. This is really good. This is really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to have about 4. I'll share with someone I love. But you should stop by Cuppa Cappucino sometime and try these sandwiches. So mine has some avocado, it has tuna. I'm seeing some lettuce in there.
You're good.
I want to say thank you to Franka. Thank you for hosting us at Josie's Cuppa Cappucino. It's been great hanging out with you today on She Inspires. Also to our amazing sponsors, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Ajile Jewelry. Thank you so much for my earrings and my necklace. I'm loving your accessories. You can check out Ajile Jewelry. She has beautiful stuff. Check her out at shopajile.com. Also want to say thank you to First Choice Hair and Beauty and Secure Daily Oral Pill. And thank you all for joining us on today's episode of She Inspires. Catch you next week as we speak to another inspiring woman on the show. I'm Jennifer Jessica Danquah.